Throughout the years, water has been a symbol for many things: prosperity, relief, calmness, or even danger. To the early settlers, that danger also came with a chance for a fresh start and opportunity. Seeking a fresh start and new opportunities, the early colonists set out across the Atlantic, establishing their first colony in the river town of Jamestown, Virginia. And knowing the importance of water for their growth, the colonists continued settling along the Atlantic coast, positioning themselves near major sources of water. In the early 1800s, water became the gateway to the exploration and expansion into the western United States. Explorers like Lewis and Clark set out to find a path to the Pacific Ocean, using the riverways as guides. Lewis and Clark finally hit the Pacific Ocean through the state of Oregon. This opened up a new path for explorers to get to the Pacific coast, but they wondered what was further out there. Is there more land? Can we create a trade route to Asia? The answer to that question was yes, and there was even more out there, as we come to find Hawaii, as well as many trade routes to Asia that we still use to this day. People like Alfred Mahan saw Hawaii as a great asset for America. It would help serve in our trade routes to Asia. Also, because of its location, could help protect the Pacific coast against any attacks from Asia. Expansion to the west was created by what the rivers brought, but expansion to the north changed because of destruction that came from the rivers. The flood of 1927 was devastating to the lower Mississippi Valley, bringing destruction, but also a major migration movement. The Great Mississippi Flood of 1927 was the most destructive river flood in the history of the United States, with 27,000 square miles inundated up to a depth of 30 feet. To prevent future floods, the government built the world's longest system of levees and floodways. Many African Americans were displaced from their homes along the lower Mississippi River and started a large migration north to industrial cities. The flood, along with a long list of other reasons, was the final straw for many African Americans living in the Mississippi Lower Valley to move and expand to other areas. In total, in 1920s, over 827,000 African Americans moved to settlements on the north part of the United States. And when they got to these new northern territories, they found a new booming shipping business. The water that had taken their homes now was providing new opportunities. In the late 1800s, the northern United States started shipping iron, coal, grain, and steel very successfully using the Great Lakes. With extreme growth in the manufacturing of iron, coal, and steel, the small cities around the Great Lakes began to grow and prosper, aiding in the industrialization of the northern states of America. With expansion moving more now towards the Midwest, a new problem arose. How does the Midwest get water? They're not near any of the major oceans. They don't have very many major rivers running through it. And the Sierra Cascade mountain range blocks off 95% of the precipitation. The solution came through the use of the Ogallala Aquifer. This aquifer was able to take an area that was known for being a dust bowl and to turn it into something that is now flourishing. Many states also use dams as well as aquifers to help them move water into areas that don't have easy access. But this does come at a price, as the aquifer is quickly becoming depleted of its resources. Not only is scarcity of water a problem, our current negligence of it is a major factor as well. Because of pollution in our water and companies using chemical spillover into lakes and rivers, we've seen our fish population decrease. In 1969, 41 million fish died Of those 41, 26 came from Florida alone, from only 4 food processing plants spillover. That same year, due to chemical spillover, 30% of water samples from drinking sources were determined contaminated with too many chemicals for human consumption. In 1972, the FDA announced that 2/3 of the country's lakes, rivers, and coastal waters had become unsafe for fishing and even swimming. In came the Clean Water Act of 1972 that made companies clean up those chemical spills and stop discharging into the water. Their main goals were to reduce pollution in all U.S. waters, to restore and maintain the chemical, physical, and biological integrity of our nation's water, and that by 1985 there must have zero discharge of pollutants in navigable, fishable, and swimmable waters. Water was essential to forging America's past. It's vital to our present, but its future is in our hands. What's your next move?